Legal Growth Podcast, where we dive into the strategies, challenges, and success stories shaping the future of law firms. I'm your host, Aaron Fulk, and together with Legal Growth Partners, we'll bring you in-depth conversations with top legal professionals, industry innovators, firm leaders. Our goal is simple: to share practical insights, innovative strategies, and real-world advice to help your law firm scale, adapt, and thrive. Whether you're navigating growth challenges or looking to boost your business development, you are in the right place. Let's dive in. I am so excited. This week, our guest is Chris Tillery. How are you, Chris?
I'm great, Aaron. Happy to be here.
And so I am going to tell everybody, because I'm so excited. This is your first podcast you've ever been on, correct?
It is my first podcast, yes.
Well, you're killing it so far. So
All right.
probably going to do a lot more after this.
All right. I'm looking forward to
it. We'll just dive in. Chris, give us a little overview of how you chose law, what your specialty is, and how you chose to go into that specialty.
Okay. So how I chose law. So, I don't have any lawyers in my family. And so, growing up, I kind of, my exposure to the legal profession in a lot of ways was influenced by like TV. Actually, kind of when I prep my witnesses, I actually kind of tell this story. It's like, you know, I thought all lawyers were like Matlock or had this supernatural like ability to figure things out or come up with clever, solutions and things like that. But in college, I had first gone into with a major for management information systems with computers. We realized quickly I didn't want to do that, and so I actually had jury duty. I think I was a junior in college at that time. I had jury duty over the summer, and it was just a small 6-person jury. I somehow got elected the foreman of the jury, but I remember it because when we were in there, they said that one of the attorneys on the other side, this is this attorney's first trial. Like they announced that at the beginning. And then throughout the trial, as we were going through, that attorney made a lot of mistakes, didn't do that great. And I remember thinking, I could do this, right? And so then I started looking into a legal career after that, and decided to go to law school. So that's kind of the start of my journey. And the reason I say I tell that story when I prepare my witnesses, I also tell that story when I talk to associates and everything. It's just kind of, one is, I want my witnesses to know that don't go into a deposition or trial thinking that the attorney knows, everything or is going to have that kind of supernatural quality. I want them to be a little bit more comfortable than that, right? But I also tell my associates that that's an important lesson because you often learn more by watching, bad attorneys than you do good attorneys. And the reason I say that is because it's easy not to do something, right? So it's, in a lot of ways, you can always not do something, versus, a good attorney might have just be really good at something, whether it's oratory or analytical skills, and that's a God-given gift. You might not be able to replicate that, but you can always not do something that a bad attorney does. So anyways, long story, but that's kind of how I got into the legal profession.
No, that is great. Yeah, I think people definitely know what they don't want to do or what's bad more than what they want to do or what's good a lot of times. So I totally agree with that. And most people have only seen it on TV.
Yes.
So yeah. That's fascinating. So what has been your biggest growth success story so far?
So when you say growth success, are you, growth as in my career or the firm? Just kind of.
Yeah, I mean, most people usually answer that question around their career, but also if you have firm suggestions too, I think people would love to hear that.
Sure. I guess my biggest growth as an attorney was kind of the transition from being an associate to being a shareholder in my law firm, like taking on more responsibility for client interactions whether it's billing or getting making the clients happy on the business aspect of it than just doing the legal work. Um, you know, I think I experienced a lot of growth, especially when I came to my firm now, Siegfried Bingham, in 2016. I came in as a lateral associate um, and became a shareholder approximately a year later. But just um, kind of learning at everything that goes into the client relationship, um, and billing, invoicing, things like that, and kind of managing a team. That was kind of a lot of growth in that time period.
Yeah, I like that. A year later, that's pretty fast, huh?
Mhm. Yeah, well, I that was the deal when I came in. So
You're right. You're like,
yeah,
but that's impressive. I'm just saying it's impressive. So,
thank you, thank
what
you.
is your favorite non-legal skill that surprisingly has been so helpful while you've been navigating your career and helping grow your firm?
Oh yeah, I think uh, I mentioned before I didn't have any lawyers in my family, and when I was when I was working through high school and through college, I waited tables and I cooked at different restaurants and everything. And I would say that the skills I learned there on just dealing with people, um, you know, this I'm a professional, but in a lot of ways, the professional services are all about the people that you deal with, whether it's your clients or whether it's the other side, the other attorneys or the other parties. Just when you're in this service industry, like being a waiter and everything, you have to deal with a lot of different people, and you have to be humble a little bit, but you also have to be direct and you have to be comfortable talking with people. And I think that prepared me well for my job as a litigator.
Yeah.
I think there's other attorneys, they don't really have that kind of interaction on a daily basis, unlike litigators, which we do. So
Yeah. I've heard that you're supposed to have your kids either work in retail or restaurants to set them up good for life at some point.
yeah, no, I think there's some truth to that. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So looking ahead, what trends or changes do you see shaping the future of law firms, and how are you positioning your firm to stay competitive?
Yeah, I mean, there's a tremendous amount of change in the legal profession kind of going on within the last couple of years. I think it's not done yet. And at the risk of probably sounding repetitive to some of your other guests, the big things are always going to be just the generational differences between lawyers in a firm, and the diversity changes that law firms are undergoing. I think every law firm is experiencing that, regardless of scale. I mean, obviously, big law firms maybe there's more of it, but even in smaller mid-sized law firms like my firm, I think we have anywhere from 40 to 50 attorneys at any given time, but we're still experiencing that. You have older shareholders who are used to practicing a certain way, and then you have newer shareholders, younger associates who are coming up, experiencing different things. We have older attorneys who still go into books when they do legal research. We have younger attorneys who've never cracked a research book other than in law school, right? And then along with that comes the technology. AI is obviously a big thing, but it's not just AI. It's social media. It's different programs that we use internally that we might have not used before, for document review and things like that. And then one of the bigger things from my perspective is just so you know COVID changed a lot of things, Aaron. In society in general, but just in the legal profession, I think there's a lot of things that changed in COVID. The big thing being video conferencing, teleconferencing is a lot more prevalent now than it was. Obviously, during COVID, people couldn't meet, you couldn't go to court as much, so luckily we had video conferencing, teleconferencing to fill in that gap. And I think in a lot of ways it's stayed since then. And there's pluses and minuses, and we're just trying to navigate that. We have some attorneys who we've been able to keep in the firm, even though maybe they moved away, because now we can practice a lot more remotely, right? But I do think that one of the issues we have to deal with is what we've missed in the interaction. The easy thing to say is the interaction of going to court and meeting, the judges or meeting the court personnel that you typically would before COVID when you went to different hearings. Now they're having those hearings online. You don't have that interaction, right? I think that maybe hurts younger attorneys a little bit. But I would say even more than that, not so much interactions with the judges and stuff. That's important, but I just think the interaction between younger attorneys and their counterparts, other attorneys, whether it's on a case they're working on or otherwise, I think a lot of times the only interaction that younger attorneys have with calls or video, right? And they don't have that in-person interaction that I think is a lot different, and it changes a lot. And it's easier to fight over email, I think, than in person for some people, and that can be a negative sometimes. A lot of times I have to tell my younger attorneys, my associates, just pick up the phone, just call them, talk to them. I feel like after the email chain gets a little long, it's time to just pick up the phone and talk to the person. And that's not even in-person communication. I'd love for them to say, hey, just ask the guy or the girl if they want to go out for lunch to discuss it. Right.
Yeah.
We're trying to get our associates to do more of that. I've been fortunate enough to be on certain committees with local bar associations where that's a topic of conversation that we're trying to do more. I know some judges have recognized this and gone and tried to go back to having more, in-person hearings. But to me, that's a big issue. I think the more that interpersonal communication amongst lawyers, it just makes the profession a lot better, not as confrontational.
And it's all about who you know, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to get to know them.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's not what everybody said. I think that's absolutely great advice. So I think you killed it on that. You did very good on your very first podcast. I'm very impressed.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So thank you. Very excited. But sorry, go ahead.
I was very excited to be on. So.
Oh, well, you did wonderful. So we're going to wrap it up. Thank you so much to Chris, and thanks so much for joining us on the Legal Growth Podcast, presented by Legal Growth Partners. If you enjoyed today's episode, subscribe, drop a review, share it with your colleagues, because great insights are even better when shared. For more tips and tools to help grow your practice, visit LegalGrowthPartners.com. Until next time, keep innovating, keep growing, and keep smiling. We'll see you next time.